blind date with a book. Ooh! Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. Today I'm doing a very exciting reading vlog because today I am doing a blind date with a book. Now this one I actually picked up from my local Costa. They're doing blind date with a book as like a charity fundraiser at the moment, so they have asked people to donate their pre-loved books, wrap them in brown paper, popped a few words on to describe the book, and then you pay £1 which goes to charity, and you get a blind date with a book, which I think is great. So of course I wanted to get involved. I do note that a lot of people on Etsy I think do blind date with a book as well. I myself have never actually taken part in that or like ordered one or anything, but I just thought this would be fun when I saw it at Costa, and I actually think I might turn this into a series if this goes well, where I could just get like friends and family to buy me a book, probably from like a charity shop or something, pop it in brown paper, probably put some words on to describe it as well, because I think that's quite fun trying to like guess what the book is, and then I can go ahead and read that for another vlog. So if that's something you'd like to see, then please do comment down below and let me know. I think it could be fun, so yeah, let me know if that's something you'd like to see. But for today's blind date with a book, I picked up this one that says thriller, page turner, Olympics, and there are two reasons primarily that I picked this one up in particular. Firstly, you know I love a thriller and I was really in the mood to read a thriller, so I had to go for that. And then the other reason is I am pretty sure I have no idea what this book is. I do not think I own it or have even heard of it, because I really can't remember any thrillers that are sort of based around the Olympics, but I'm kind of intrigued by the concept, so hopefully this is a good one. I can feel already that this is a hardback, so pretty excited that I got a hardback thriller for £1. But yeah, basically today we are going to open this one up and we are going to read the book for the vlog. And I feel like whether I enjoy it or not, it's just going to be like a fun little experiment, a fun video. Hopefully it's an enjoyable book, but if not, I'm not going to be too mad. Like I said, I have absolutely no idea what this book is. But if you do think that you know what this book is, if you think you've guessed it, then comment down below right now and let me know what you think the book is before I open it, because I'm really intrigued to see if other people have heard of this book or been able to guess it from the words. But yeah, let's just go ahead, open it up and get started. Oh, interesting. Okay, so it's a James Patterson. I have not read any James Patterson books. I feel like there's a reason I haven't, but I can't actually quite remember what that reason is now. I feel like there's a reason I don't like him, but I'm not sure why. But anyway, for the sake of this video, let's just go ahead. So this one is called Private Games, the world's most exclusive detective agency. One city, one games, one target. Intriguing. Okay, so the blurb says, the Olympic Games are under attack. Only Private, the world's most exclusive detective agency, can save them. The world is watching. July 2012, the Games have arrived in London. Preparations have gone flawlessly and the stage is set for one of the greatest ever showcases of sporting excellence. But one man has a devastating plan. Having waited years for his chance, he is now ready for vengeance. A killer is plotting. When Sir Denton Marshall, a key member of the London Olympic Organising Committee, is found decapitated in his garden, Peter Knight, head of Private London, is called to the scene. Private are working with their organising committee on the security for the Games, so Denton Marshall was a valuable client. But there's a more personal link. Marshall was also the fiancé of Knight's mother. Okay. The time for vengeance has come. Having only recently lost close friends and colleagues at Private London in a fatal plane crash, this is another torturous blow for Knight and threatens to push him over the edge. But it soon becomes clear that Denton Marshall's murder is no isolated incident and that the killer's #1 target is the Games itself. As the most talented athletes in the world gather in London, Knight knows he must find Sir Denton's killer. Thousands of lives are at stake. I mean, this is definitely not one I would have picked up of my own accord, I can say that right now. But I'm intrigued. I'm hoping this is going to be a really fast-paced thriller that I'm just going to fly through. It's less than 400 pages. I mean, this is what the font looks like, so hopefully it's going to be a nice quick read and hopefully it's going to be an exciting one as well. I don't know. I'm intrigued. Hopefully this is going to be an enjoyable read. So right now I'm going to get myself cozy and I'm going to get started on this book. So I've just read the first part of Private Games, so I'm on page 51, and so far I'm really enjoying it. Like, it is super fast paced. All the chapters are about 3 or 4 pages long, which I love in any book, but especially in a thriller, because it just makes me want to keep turning the page and keep getting to the next chapter. It just keeps it all a lot more exciting and fast paced, so I'm definitely enjoying that. So far we are following 2 different characters. So we are following Knight, who is this detective for Private London, and we are also following the killer, or like the bad guy or whatever, whose name we do not know yet. The book basically starts right slap bang in the action with this killer's perspective as he kills his first victim, which is of course Knight's mum's fiance. We keep switching back between Knight and this killer and getting both their perspectives, which is really interesting. I do really enjoy in a thriller when you get the killer's perspective. I always think that's really interesting to see sort of like their justification for what they're doing, why they're doing it, and what their sort of state of mind is. And the killer in this is definitely unstable. He has had a horrible childhood and a very difficult time growing up, and that has sort of turned him into the man he is today, it seems. And he has this very sort of warped sense of justice and this warped sense of what is right and what is wrong, but he completely believes in his own sense of that and will do anything to do what is right in his opinion, which is really interesting to read about. I am looking forward to seeing how that continues throughout the book. After I last spoke to you, I did read the back a little bit more, and I realised this is actually sort of a series. So this Private London, there is a whole series of books based around this detective agency. So I don't know if you had read more books in the series, you would know more about this detective, if it always follows him or what. But I'm basically just going to read this one as a standalone. I don't think I'll read any more in the series, but it's just interesting to know that. I also did a little bit of reading online on James Patterson just to see if I could find out what it is that I don't like about him, because I know I've heard bad things, but I don't know what it is. One of the things I did read is that he now seems to be more of like a brand name rather than an actual author. So for instance, in this one, this is a collaboration with Mark Sullivan, and what I read online is that a lot of the time now in his collaborations, he doesn't actually do any of the writing a lot of the time. It's just like his name goes to the book. So this is more sort of Mark Sullivan's book, if we were to take that as gospel. I don't know how much truth there is in that, obviously, but it's just interesting to know. But yeah, I'm definitely enjoying it so far, and I sped through those first 50 pages, so I'm thinking it's just going to be a really quick, exciting read. So yeah, I think I will just get back to reading now. Hello, so I have just finished part 2 of Private Games, so I'm now on page 147, and it's okay. I mean, it's good, it's exciting, the plot is constantly moving, it is definitely very fast paced, and it's just sort of like one thing after another, like race against time type thing to try and figure out who this killer is before he kills again. And it's quite interesting how it's all set around the Olympic Games as well, and also why, and the killer's opinion of the Olympic Games and how it has changed and what it is doing to the world. So it is like fast paced, it's exciting. Like I said, the short chapters mean you just keep turning the page and reading and reading. It's not my usual type of thriller, that's for sure. This reminds me more of sort of like an action adventure type thing, because it is that sort of race against time type thing, and you've got like shootouts and chases and things like that. That's not really my type of thriller. Like, when I read a thriller, I much prefer the sort of darker, usually domestic thrillers, or things with like families or relationships or secrets and like twisted, disturbing characters. Like, that is my type of thriller. Whereas this one, like I said, is more sort of like surface level, fast paced, chasing the killer type thing, which is fine. It's just not really to my taste. So definitely can say for sure I would not have picked this one up. I would not be reading it if it was not for the blind date with a book. I do kind of like how it's getting me to read something that I wouldn't have necessarily read myself. I think that's something that's quite interesting about maybe making this into a series, because sometimes I'll maybe find things that I wouldn't have picked up that I end up loving, or vice versa. So yeah, very exciting. I do feel in this one though as well, I just don't think the writing's very good. Not that like in thrillers the writing's like exceptional or anything, but I just feel like in this one all of the characters are very two-dimensional. Like, I don't really feel invested in any of them. I don't feel like any of them really have any real sort of rounded out character. They don't really have much background. You're getting some of their past and everything, but it's not like enough to really make me feel invested in them or to like feel anything towards them. I don't particularly like anyone that much. Not that I like dislike anyone, I just don't feel like that invested in them. So that is another thing that I think is maybe like detracting from my enjoyment of this, because usually with thrillers I do feel like you get quite invested in people's stories, even if it is like the bad guy or whatever, just knowing how like twisted they are. So yeah, it's alright, it's just not really like my type of thriller. But it is very fast paced, like I said, so I probably will eat this up within like today or tomorrow, and I'll probably enjoy my time with it. It just won't be anything that I race to recommend or anything that really sticks with me for a long time, and it's definitely not making me think that James Patterson is an author for me, because I'm assuming most of his books are like this, very sort of like surface level, fast paced, tense, shootouts, chases, like all that sort of thing, rather than like the darker, gritty, like more story based books that I enjoy. Hi friends, so it is now the next day. I did read a lot more of Private Games last night, but then I just got to the point where I was too tired, too sleepy, so I decided to go to bed. I think I literally have about 60 pages of this. Yeah, about 60 pages of this book left, so I am just going to sit and speed through those last 60 pages just now, but I thought I'd just come on and give you a quick update before I do so from my reading last night. My thoughts haven't really changed too much whatsoever. It is still the same, it's just not to my taste in the sense that it is all very sort of like surface level. Like I said before, it is very fast paced, which is exciting, but I also feel like it kind of detracts from the story as well, in my opinion, because you're speeding from scene to scene. You never get like a proper fleshed out scene or properly fleshed out characters. It's almost like you're just getting like little bullet points of like, okay, this is what's going on, bang bang bang, on to the next one. And for me that means I can never fully get invested in the book because I never get long enough to properly like soak into it. For me, I love like good descriptions, and particularly in thrillers, like really dark, twisty, eerie description. And this one, like I said, is more sort of action adventure, just bang bang bang. These are the facts, this is what happened, on to the next scene. That being said, I do feel like that would mean that these sort of books would definitely be sort of like comfort books for a lot of people. I know I myself, in terms of films, like comfort films for me, although I would say slashers are often comfort films for me, I would also say like maybe like action adventure, disaster movies, because like Dwayne Johnson movies, you know what you're getting from them, you know everything's going to work out well in the end, but it's all very fast-paced, action-packed, bam bam bam, and you just sort of enjoy the ride. You never have to get like too invested in it. I feel like that's what these books are the equivalent of, and for a lot of people I could see that being the only type of book they read. They just fly through them just as a bit of escapism without having to do too much like in-depth thinking or anything like that. Not sparking like any real emotion or anything, just like a nice, enjoyable, fast-paced read. So I 100% get that, it's just not to my taste personally. I am just going to read the last 60 pages or so now. I'm kind of hoping for some sort of like twist or reveal or something like that in these last few pages, just something to give it, something to make it maybe slightly more memorable for me. I feel like because we're getting the killer's perspective in all of this, we're getting all of his steps and all of his like thought processes, it means that there hasn't really been any surprises or any twists or anything. You've just been sort of following it, knowing exactly what's happening. Whereas for me, a lot of the time, a lot of my enjoyment from a thriller comes from the fact that I'm trying to work out what's going on, like who the bad guy is, that sort of thing. Like I like to get all those little clues from the author throughout and try to piece them together and see if I was right in the end, or maybe if my opinion changes throughout the book as we keep getting twists to like make us think differently. That is a huge part of my enjoyment for a thriller. So for this, because you're just following the killer and the inspector and you're seeing exactly what's happening step by step, it's again kind of missing the mark a little bit for me. But I'm hoping maybe in these last 50 pages or so there'll be some sort of twist or some sort of reveal, just to give me that little something to remember this book by. But yeah, I'm just going to sit down now and bash out those last 60 pages. So I have just finished Private Games by James Patterson, and I think I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 5 stars. I thought about giving it a 2, but I feel like that's going to be just like slightly harsh. It was an enjoyable read. It was very fast paced, very action packed. There was a lot going on. The story didn't really stop for a second. It was just hurtling on through. Lots of really short chapters, which I love, which meant that I just couldn't put it down. I just wanted to keep going on to the next chapter and continuing on with the story. Those are all really good things. However, as I've already said, it just wasn't sort of like deep enough for me. It wasn't dark enough for me. None of the characters or any of the scenes were fleshed out at all. It was all very surface level and very safe, I guess, so I could understand why it would be a very enjoyable read for a lot of people. It's just not to my taste at all, and I definitely would not have picked this one up if it wasn't for this blind date with a book experiment. And I do not plan on picking up any other James Patterson novels in the future. Just not my vibe. Not my vibe at all. But an enjoyable experience all the same. I'm really interested to see how this might go in future if I do other, well, when I do other blind date with a book videos, because I do plan to do more, because this was fun and it was interesting to read something that I wouldn't have read like myself, I would have chosen for myself. So it'll be interesting to see if that continues in other videos, and especially if I'm getting people I know to pick them out for me. It'll be interesting to see if they're nice to me and pick things I like, or if they'll pick things I don't like, or if they'll think it's something I'm gonna like and I end up hating it, and all that jazz. So yeah, I think this could be a really fun series on my channel and I'm excited to continue with it. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know down below if you did and if you want to see more of these videos, because obviously I want to give you the content that you actually want to watch. If you did make it to the end of this video, then pop the medal emoji down below obviously for private games, Olympics, all of that. Pop the medal in the comments down below just to let me know that you made it to the end of the video and that you enjoyed your time here. Next week I will be back with just another regular weekly reading vlog, so hopefully you will look forward to that. I know I will. So yeah, as always, if you did enjoy this video then do please give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe for more bookish content from me. Comment down below with any of your thoughts and feelings. I do reply to every single comment. I love you all and I will see you in my next one.